This program was produced by and first broadcast on Radio Kidnappers, a community access media station. Thanks to New Zealand On Air for making this type of programming possible.
Hi, this is Heiko from the Acupuncture on Air show. Come and join me on Tuesday mornings at 11am on Radio Kidnappers and find out about acupuncture and all the things it can treat. And also we have interviews with special people and unique people, and today we're continuing with a series of interviews that we're having with a Melbourne practitioner, Ilana Sauter. So good morning, Ilana, how are you?
Good morning, Heiko. I'm good. I'm excited to be here. Thank you.
Yeah. And
how are you?
Oh, I'm good, and I'm quite excited too, because I know that our first show that we've recorded, I mean this is our fourth one,
yes.
But the first one now has over 150 views on YouTube. So
wow.
You know, we're really going viral.
We're going viral on YouTube. That's awesome. Yeah. I love it.
And today, of course, is one of my favourite topics because you know, though I am a registered acupuncturist, but I'm also a registered Chinese herbalist, and Chinese herbs
and very experienced and renowned one.
Yeah, and my passion is Chinese herbs and Chinese medicine. So yeah, I'm looking forward to talking to you today about particularly Chinese herbs in relation to women's health.
Yes.
So what I find here is that yeah, a lot of people in New Zealand and Australia, they're not really clued up as to the regulation of practitioners and their training in terms of Chinese herbs. And now you are a registered practitioner of Chinese herbal medicine, so tell us a bit about your training, you know, to get to that standard.
Yeah, so in Australia, Chinese medicine practitioners need to be registered under the National Registration and Accreditation Scheme with the Chinese Medicine Registration Board, and thus meet the board standards in order to practice here. And this is supported by the governing watchdog known as APRA, the Australian Health Practitioner Regulation Association, whose main role is to protect the public in setting standards and policy that all registered health practitioners must meet. So in summary, APRA investigates health complaints or concerns regarding the health practitioners. And so in order to be a registered practitioner, you have to study an APRA-approved, you know, bachelor degree or master's degree.
And what have you done? Have you done a bachelor's or master's in Chinese herbal medicine?
Yes. So I did the bachelor in acupuncture, and then I recently completed the master's in applied health science at RMIT.
Okay, fantastic. Now, tell us a bit about, you know, because there's a lot of stigma about herbs, that they're poisonous or dangerous, or they've been grown on uranium mines and all sorts of things. But tell us a bit about, like, the quality of herbs, their safety, their toxicity, anything that you can sort of give us shed some light there.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, it's a very interesting topic and perhaps quite a polemical one, because a lot of people, especially in Australia and New Zealand, you know, Chinese medicine isn't their first line of treatment, let alone Chinese herbal medicine. So I think apparently in Australia, 20% of the population use or have used Chinese herbal medicine.
Okay.
So I guess there isn't enough proper research, because a lot of the research is done in China, and then the standards of the research isn't good enough. Like a lot of the research, there's a systematic review, and a lot of the research, the practitioners, well, they weren't even practitioners doing the research, so things like that create problems on how good the research is. But essentially, in my experience, and I don't know about your experience, Heiko, how do you find the safety of, anecdotally, in your practice of Chinese herbs?
Well, again, it's that whole research thing is quite an interesting, you know, topic in itself, because you know, often, as I said, you know, research is done, you know, not from practitioners. It's done by, you know, what I call, you know, monkeys in white coats,
yes.
You know, sort of doing things. And then they try to research something like, you know, to fit into the Western medical pharmaceutical model. So it's like, let's research this herb and see what the active ingredient is. And, we know that chemical or that that
Constituent.
substance,
Yeah.
can influence some enzyme or, can influence some hormone or something.
Hence affect a certain disease.
Yeah, and then and that's not how I aim to treat, with
Yes.
when a patient comes in. But
And also we don't isolate the constituents from the herbs. We give the whole, well, usually whole or parts.
yeah, because the interesting example that I often use is that the Chinese herb Ma Wang, which ephedra, which has been used for thousands of years to treat asthma. Anyway, in the early 1900s, they discovered that the key component of it is ephedrine. So then they started to use ephedrine as a synthesized chemical to treat asthma. But then with that comes a whole lot of problems, racing heartbeat and nervousness and you name it.
Yes.
And then, I don't know, about 100 years later, some other researcher says, if we actually combine that chemical ephedrine with norepinephrine, which is like the opposite of ephedrine, it counteracts that balance. And then I said, but the actual herb Ma Wang actually has all that in it. So it's like, you won't just go back and use the herb. That doesn't cause all the problems.
And science can be very reductionistic when it's already existing. And look, it's an interesting question because in my opinion, anecdotally, I've had very good safety record in my practice with herbs, and you always know if something's going wrong because people will tell you, well, so I took the herbs and this happened or something. But I guess the problem with safety is a lot of people self-prescribe, and there are a lot of herbs and formulas out there that they can buy themselves. And that
I'll just jump in here quickly with that self-prescribing because I know from Chinese statistics, like 99% of Chinese herbal ill effects or bad effects has come from self-prescribed. It's where the grandmother has said,
exactly, and that's probably the cases where they have liver damage and things. Yeah.
So, but one of the other common questions that I often get asked, by patients is, but won't the Chinese herbs, they interfere with the medications, and particularly with women, they might be on the contraceptive pill or they might be on clomiphene, which we know is a pretty sort of common fertility drug. And other women might be on thyroid medication.
Yes.
So, just tell us a bit about, combining the herbs with these type of medications.
Yeah, look, absolutely. I've been supporting women for their health conditions and even during pregnancy and like IVF support for about 10 years. And, the general rule, and this is what I was taught at RMIT, was to take the medication 2 hours away from the herbal medicine as to prevent interaction. And I have found I actually haven't had any issues, even with IVF. I mean, often if I'm supporting a patient with IVF, the first few cycles I don't even do herbs because it's more of a question of how will the patient respond to the IVF medication.
Mm-hmm.
However, if they're out of balance and they need, blood building or yin nourishing, then the herbs are going to support their body and more so taken as a supplement. But I even find when giving women herbs when they're on the pill, especially for a lot of women go on the pill because they've got really bad skin. So you can actually give, prescribe Chinese herbal medicine while they're on the pill, and then that helps to, move the liver qi or whatnot under the skin so that when they come off the pill, it's a lot more of a smooth result than just coming off the pill and then trying to rectify the body.
Yeah. Yeah, what I usually just say to my patients is say, look, in China, I think probably every minute there's probably 100,000 women taking Chinese herbs who are on a whole host of different medications from thyroid to
and that's true because they don't actually mention that, do they, in those? Because I've read about the hepatotoxicity cases where there's liver problems from Chinese herbs. But yes, there could be a few factors, as in they've already got liver damage, they're taking other medication, they're self-prescribing, and also we don't know about the quality of the herbs because I guess that's an issue too. And I know that you and I use a very good herb brand called Coda, and the testing is really strict, and the efficacy of the herbs is tested, and it's high quality. So I can always prescribe and dispense my herbs with confidence.
Yeah, and that's the same, because I know that the herbs are all tested with the Australia and the TGA, and tested for all things. But yeah, it's unfortunately that sometimes there's a bit of bad publicity, and it doesn't matter what it is, it just gets out there. But let me just talk about when a female patient first comes to you, and it may be sort of quite a general question, but do they ask for or expect you that they're going to provide a herb? They say, "Oh, Ilana, can you change my estrogen?" Or or my progesterone is not right. Can you, or dissolve some unwanted tissue here in the endothelium or something? Or are they sort of coming to you already? "Oh, Ilana, look, can you balance me out? Can you do what you need to do?" Or do you get a bit of a mix of patients?
Yeah, I believe I get a mix, and it's funny you ask that, because for example, the other day I had a lady collect some herbs that I made for her, and then when she deposited the money in my account, she wrote Ilana Naturopathic Herbs.
All right.
And so, I think a lot of people, I think the public doesn't generally understand that. They don't really understand the difference between Chinese herbal medicine, modern, classic, or Western.
Yeah,
and they come in, I think,
No, so I definitely have that problem with it. There's a certain percentage of people, they're doing their own research on the internet, and they know they have a problem from a Western medical point of view with estrogen or with progesterone, and so then they come to me for something natural. Like, can you give me something natural so I don't have to take this drug? Or this drug's causing me all these side effects. Can you give me something natural to? And
what do you say to that?
Oh, look, it's a difficult thing. I mean, it's because it takes time to really to explain, the concept of the whole approach of treating the whole body, the whole person, and how we have certain concepts in Chinese medicine like phlegm or damp or the three heater system. And I said these things.
The weather report.
They don't relate to something sort of tangible in a modern scientific realm. And
not really, no. Although I do, to an effect, I would say, the estrogen, just to explain to someone, to give them some idea of Chinese medicine, the estrogen is the yin of the body, and the progesterone is the yang.
Yeah.
So I do say, look, I can help you support that, but obviously the way we do it, you would never just give someone lots of yin herbs, because you always have to balance it out with yang, yang and harmonizers and whatnot.
Yeah, and one of the things what I find difficult to explain to the patients is that the herbs, when you prescribe them, is that they would change. Maybe after 3 or 4 days, maybe after a week, maybe after 2 weeks.
Yes.
And you very rarely just come in and say, "Here, take this herb," and off you go. And I think that's partly, I don't want to criticise sort of the naturopathic approach, but I would call it, the health food store approach.
Yeah.
It's like,
definitely.
You go into the shop, I've got liver problem. Here, take this dandelion, take that for, 6 months, and then come back and get some more, or what's your problem? I can't sleep.
No, we would never do that, would we?
Yeah, I can't sleep. Here, take chamomile tea, and that's it. Whereas, we might work out.
I guess when you do that, you end up having to take so many things, because you end up thinking, well, I know from my own experience prior to studying, and from patients' experience, they can take about 10 different supplements and herbs, because they're all good for a certain condition.
Yeah.
But then they don't actually know what's working, or whether any are interacting or having harmful effects.
Yeah, and what I find, as I try to explain, is that we try to sort of regulate your body so that you don't need to keep taking supplements. We sort of want to fix this imbalance, and then it's like, okay, well, now your body is regulated. Its own homeostatic mechanism, its own self-regulating system will kick in, so you don't need to keep taking something to counteract a symptom. And that's I think is the big difference with applying traditional Chinese medicine, with a diagnosis and then with an appropriate sort of tailor-made formula.
And we look at a pattern, don't we? Because there could be one pattern
could be
make
3
10 different diseases or 10 patterns causing one type of illness.
Yeah. And that's why sometimes I say, like, somebody might come in for endometriosis and you get 10 patients with endometriosis, and let's just say they're all 23 years old, they've all got endometriosis, confirmed by scans. They would have 10 different formulas. Each person would have something completely different, and those ones would change after a few weeks, like if somebody's...
It does, and that's such a holistic approach, because you're really looking at the person. You're not just saying, I'm treating the endometriosis, you're saying I'm treating the fact that you've got some cold in the uterus, the fact that you've got some heart heat, and your liver chi stagnant. And then as the person changes, as you see them regularly, that all the imbalances change as well.
Yeah. But listen, I think we're just getting close to the time slot here, so we better finish up. And it's been really great having these last 4 shows. And
thank you so much for having me.
The radio station's very happy with our YouTube exposure, and that we're becoming world famous now. So I think we'll probably have a look at it doing some more shows.
That'd be amazing.
And we'll definitely we'll get together and plan some more shows. And
I'd love to do that.
And then to finish off the show, I've got a song from Frank Zappa, and I know that Ken, the DJ there, he's just about fallen off the chair, but I've got a song dedicated to him, and it's called "I'm So Cute." Right, but the song actually mentions ginseng, and I thought, I did a bit of a search to try to find a song that's got the word ginseng in it.
That's a really cool song and rocker.
Well, I think it's a good song, but I don't know whether you or Ken would be putting it on your top 10 favourites. So here's the song. Thanks again, Ilana,
excellent.
And we look forward to hearing you again.
Have a great day.
You too. Bye.
Thanks, Heiko and everyone. Bye.
This program was produced by and first broadcast on Radio Kidnappers, a community access media station. Thanks to New Zealand On Air for making this type of programming possible.